Good morning, Keidan Rising Stars. It's me, Miss Though. I have a hat on. I have my other glasses on. I'm bundled up. It's chilly in my house this morning. Who said it was springtime out? It's chilly here. It's chilly. Let's take a look at the calendar today because it's May. May is supposed to be springtime. It's supposed to be warm out. But it's not. It looks like another rainy day. Uh-oh. I dropped my number 12. Here it is. All right. Today is Thursday. It is Thursday, May 14th, 2020. Can't believe it's the middle of May and I'm wearing a hat because I'm so cold. We turned on the heat. Don't worry. It'll get warm in here soon. Thank goodness for heat. Can we count to 14, please? I would like to count together because once we get to 10 and we start moving past, it gets a little tricky. We need some practice. So let's go fast all the way to 10 and then we will slow down in this week. Okay? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Think about it. What comes after 10? 11, 12. Here we go. 13 and 14. All right. Who's ready for the tricky one? Let's go backwards. Let's count backwards from 14 all the way down to 1. Here we go. 14, 13, 12, 11, should be a 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Nice work. How about the days of the week? You ready to do the days of the week? Can we do those forwards and backwards too? We should have a backwards day. Who's in charge of Spirit Week? Can we have a Spirit Week coming up soon? I think that's a brilliant idea. Here we go. Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. Let's go backwards. Before Saturday is Friday. Before Friday is Thursday. Before Thursday is Wednesday. Before Wednesday is Tuesday. Before Tuesday is Monday. Before Monday is Sunday. Nice work, Rising Stars. Can we sing the Days of the Week song? I think we're about ready to add a new song in here. We'll have to see. Maybe we can add something new next week. Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, too. Wednesday, Thursday, just for you. Friday, Saturday, that's the end. Now let's say those days again. Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, too. Wednesday, Thursday, just for you. Friday, Saturday, that's the end. Now let's say those days again. Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Nice job. Nice job. Well, I think we'll add a new song next week. I think that is an excellent idea. We'll have to see if we've got some ideas. Maybe some of your teachers have some ideas and they can tell me in Microsoft Teams. Let's sing this song. But they didn't listen to us at the beginning, and when we were singing the hand washing songs, that's old news. We've got the hand washing down, don't we? That's what Miss McLean keeps saying. She keeps saying, do the hand washing, do the hand washing. We did the hand washing. Where was she? She wasn't around when we were talking about hand washing. She was sitting on her couch eating bonbons. I don't know, waiting for kids to show up in her classroom. And now that you have, we did all the hand washing. Tell her. Tell her. All right, here's my question of the day. It is a delicious question. It's all about pie. It's high time, it's pie time, is what my friend says. So what do you like? Do you like cherry pie? Do you like pumpkin pie? Or do you like apple pie? All fruit pies to choose from. Is pumpkin a fruit? It's got seeds in it. I guess it's technically a fruit, right? So cherry pie, pumpkin pie, or apple pie. I guess pumpkin pie might be a vegetable. Somebody look that up for us and let us know. So what do you pick? So many good choices. I pick them all. Can I pick them all? That's not right. You have to pick one. So if I had to pick only one to eat for the rest of my life and I never got to taste the others, I think I would pick pumpkin pie. Pumpkin pie is one of my favorites, but I do like cherry pie a lot, and I make apple pie too. So your job is to tell us, which one do you want? Which one do you like? Cherry pie, pumpkin pie, or apple pie? You could pause this and tell your teacher. You could point to it on the screen and tell your family. You could leave a comment in your Microsoft Teams classroom. You could, I don't think you can leave a comment on my YouTube videos anymore. I think I took that off just for safety's sake. I want it to be safe. I have been doing some things that I haven't done in a very long time. Did you know that I like to knit? I do. I like to knit quite a lot. And the other day I pulled out this ball of green wool that my friend brought back from another country. She went to Ireland and bought this yarn in a town called Donegal. Isn't that a funny name for a town, Donegal? And she brought this home for me, and I started to knit a hat. So this is the stretchy part that will go at the bottom of a hat. And I got to thinking, I have a lot of books about knitting. We have a couple of them that we read at school this winter. I have a few about sheep and about spinning and about weaving here at my house because I like to knit. But I thought that maybe we would read a knitting book today because it's so chilly out and I'm wrapped in all of my warm woolies today. So this book is called Annie and the Swiss Cheese Scarf, and it's written by Elena Dacos. I'm not sure. But do you think she actually made a scarf out of cheese? That would be very weird. Let's read and find out. Annie and the Swiss Cheese Scarf. Annie's mommy was a knitter. At nighttime after dinner, Annie played with her dolls on the floor while her mommy sat on the big green sofa with piles of knitting in her lap. Even after Annie was tucked into bed, she could hear the click of her mommy's needles as she drifted off to sleep. Can you find the green sofa? Sometimes we call a sofa a couch. Sometimes we call it a settee as well, I think. A divan. Do some people call it a divan? Do you see the green sofa, the green couch? Yeah. Needles do make a little bit of a clicking sound when you use them. From the time Annie was a baby, she had always had special things knitted from her mommy. Baby booties and matching bonnets, all sorts of hats, socks, and scarves, knitted dollies with knitted dolly dresses, and even the special yellow baby blanket that she secretly still slept with, even though she was now big. Annie was the only kid in her class to have a special hand-knit sweater to wear on the first day of school. She felt so proud. I would feel proud if somebody made me something. I would wear that. I have a beautiful piece of jewelry that my nephew Jacob made for me. I wear that and I think of how much he loves me and how much I love him when I wear that necklace. Some of the scarves and shawls that I wear were knit by my friends, and it makes me feel like they have loved me so much when I wear them. It's like wearing a hug. I'll bet that's how Annie felt. Annie loved her mommy's knitting. She loved the colors of yarn and how it felt when she rubbed the bumpy stitches between her fingers. In fact, she loved her mommy's knitting so much that one day she decided she wanted to knit too. One night after dinner, Annie sat down next to her mommy on the big green sofa, that's the couch, with her own ball of bright pink yarn. "I want to knit a scarf," she said. "Well, first, let's learn the stitches," said her mommy. Annie's mommy covered Annie's hands with her own. She slowly helped put loops on her needle and showed how to make the stitches. Annie watched each loop slip from one needle to the other as her mommy repeated a rhyme and helped her remember what to do. In through the front door, once around the back, peek through the windows, off jumps Jack. And you know, even when I am teaching grown ladies how to knit, sometimes that's what I say to them too. In through the front door, once around the back, peek through the window, off jumps Jack. That's how people learn how to wrap the yarn around their needles so that they can do this correctly. Soon it was time for Annie to practice on her own, but her hands just wouldn't work right. Her fingers kept slipping and her needles kept falling off the stitches. "It's all right, keep trying, just slow and be patient," her mommy whispered as she helped Annie to fix her work. Annie could see how to make stitches, but she didn't want to slow down and be patient. She had a scarf to finish. She wanted to knit fast, like her mommy. Do you ever have a hard time being patient when you're learning something? Do you ever have a hard time slowing down? Sometimes we have to slow down to learn something before we can go fast. Those of you who are playing ukulele with me, do you remember we had to slow it down so that we could learn? It's true. As Annie sped up her stitching, loops began jumping off of Annie's needles and big, ugly holes and knots appeared out of nowhere. Annie began to feel frustrated with her knitting. Her mommy made it look so easy, but knitting was much harder than it seemed. Annie's mommy tried to help. She said, "I had to practice a lot before I was able to knit quickly. Just take your time, and before long, you'll get the hang of it." Annie sighed. She didn't want to wait weeks or days or even hours. She wanted to be a fast knitter, and she wanted a bright pink scarf to wear to school, and she wanted it now. Her mommy says, "It takes a lot of practice." A lot of patience, a lot of practice. Even grown people, they do not like the practicing of knitting. They want to have it fast. They want it done now. After a few rows, Annie jumped off the couch and held up her knitting. The scarf didn't look like a scarf at all. It looked like a lopsided piece of pink Swiss cheese. Do you see the holes in her scarf? Just like in Swiss cheese. Annie felt very disappointed about the whole thing. She didn't want to knit anymore. Annie pouted and stomped off to her room, where she shoved her knitting under the bed and nearly forgot about it altogether. My niece Sana, she tried knitting a pink scarf. It has some holes in it. It looks a little bit like Swiss cheese, but she didn't shove it under her bed. She put it in the basket and left it at Auntie Gloria's house, so that when she would go to Auntie Gloria's house, Auntie Gloria would try to help her. Sanaa did not finish her scarf. It is still sitting at Auntie Gloria's house. Maybe Sanaa should go over to Auntie Gloria's house and practice her knitting some more since she's home during the pandemic. Maybe she could go knock on the door and say, Auntie Gloria, will you pass that knitting out and put it on the porch so that I could try it again? Because there's time to practice things right now, isn't there? One day at school, Annie's teacher, Mrs. B, announced that there would be a class talent show the following week. All of the students would share one of their special talents with the rest of the class. Go home tonight and start thinking about what you are the best at. Everybody is good at something, Mrs. B said. It's true. We all have talents, don't we? Several days passed by. Annie couldn't stop thinking about the talent show and all of the kids in her class. She knew that Emma could jump rope 100 times without stopping. And Aubrey could blow the biggest bubblegum bubble that anyone had ever seen. David could hold his breath for an entire minute. But what talent could she share? Wonder what Annie's good at. She thought and thought. She's practicing singing, practicing dancing. She knew that she wasn't the best at singing and dancing. She never learned origami or cartwheels or how to play an instrument. She liked drawing pictures, but everyone knew that Luke was the best artist in the class. Sounds like she's comparing herself to a lot of people. I don't really like that. It was the night before the class talent show, and Annie lay in bed with her old yellow knitted blanket, trying to think of an idea. As she tossed and turned, her blanket fell to the floor. When she rolled over to pick it up, she noticed something out of the corner of her eye. Something was peeking out from under her bed. It was long. It was skinny. And it was bright pink. What do you think it is? Do you have a guess? Do you have a guess? Let's see if it tells us. Annie crouched down to get a closer look and pulled the dusty Swiss cheese scarf out from under her bed. And all of a sudden she had an idea. She blew off the dust, picked up the needles, and she started again right where she left off. She repeated the rhyme her mommy had taught her to remember what to do. In through the front door, once around the back, peek through the window, and off jumps Jack. But this time, she was slow and careful with her stitching. She was shaky at first. She had to think hard to remember the right way to wrap the yarn. Sometimes the needles wouldn't cooperate, and there were still some holes. But Annie kept trying and trying and trying. As she practiced, her knitting looked less like Swiss cheese and more like a real scarf. Annie started to feel excited. Just maybe this can be my talent, she thought. I think with most of our talents, we have to practice them, don't we? So that we get very good at them. Nobody is great at something right from the get-go. She knit and knit. The stitches became easier and easier. She knit faster and faster. She knit until her fingers started to hurt and her eyes felt blurry. She knit late into the night. When Annie finally fell asleep, she continued to knit in her dreams. Look, she's even dreaming about knitting. I'll bet none of you dream about knitting. I'll bet some of my friends do, though. When Annie woke up the next morning, she felt tired. Her eyes were heavy and her fingers felt crooked and stiff. But she didn't care. She couldn't wait to tell Mommy about her new talent. Now we can knit together, said Annie. I knew you could do it, said her Mommy proudly. Mommies should always believe in the talents of their children, right? Doesn't it feel good when your mommy or somebody who loves you says, I believe in you, I knew you could do it? That day at school, it was time for the talent show. Annie saw all sorts of talents that day. Owen balanced on one leg, Ava brought her hula hoop, and David held his breath longer than he ever had before. When it was Annie's turn to share her talent, she excitedly pulled out her scarf from her backpack and carefully unrolled her knitting for the class to see. The class oohed and ahed. Did you make that yourself? Mrs. B asked, surprised. Yes, I did, answered Annie proudly. It took a lot of practice. The students came up and felt her knitting. Can you teach me to knit, Annie, please? Asked Emma. I love the color, said Audrey. I like the holes at the bottom, David said, as he stuck his fingers through the bottom section of Annie's scarf. She decided that she wouldn't tell him that that part was a mistake. I am so proud of you, Annie, said Mrs. B. That really took a lot of hard work, and I am impressed with your talent. Annie felt very proud of herself, too. Annie now spends her evenings knitting away on the green sofa with her mommy. Aw, so sweet. It's nice to be able to do things with the people who love you, isn't it? And she even teaches knitting lessons to her friends at recess. And she's saying here, learning to knit takes patience and a lot of practice. The end. But not really the end. This book has directions if you wanted to learn how to knit. It shows you how to do that. And it explains how in through the front door, once around the back works, so that you can learn to knit. It's a pretty great thing. I have my knitting here, and maybe I'll work on some knitting today after I call all of the students that I need to call. I could just keep knitting, and pretty soon I won't have a pink Swiss cheese scarf, but I might have a green hat for somebody to wear, so that if there's another cold day, they can put it on their head and keep themselves warm. Wouldn't that be nice? But maybe you could think about something that you could practice today. What's something that you'd like to be able to do that you're not very good at? Maybe you could practice that with your family. Practice setting the table. That would be nice. Set the table for lunch. Maybe you could practice washing the dishes. That would be nice. Or rinsing them off for your dishwasher if you have a dishwasher. We don't have a dishwasher. I'm jealous if you have a dishwasher. You could practice matching things by color. You could even practice brushing your teeth or washing your hands. Those are all good things to practice. Good things to practice, because sometimes it takes a while. But the more you practice, the better you become. We have not sung the alphabet in a while. So can we sing the alphabet with the hand washing part at the end? Now I know my hands are clean. Because when we practice washing our hands, we need to do it for 20 seconds, which is usually about the alphabet song. If you sing it slow, not if you sing it super fast. Let's sing the alphabet hand washing. Here we go. A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O, P, Q, R, S, T, U, V, W, X, Y, and Z. Now I know my hands are clean. Won't you help me dry them, please? Let's sing that one more time so that we can Keidan, make sure that you wash your hands. Get them nice and clean. Make sure that you eat something healthy today. Maybe a piece of fruit, not those fruit pies. Maybe a vegetable. What kind of vegetable are you going to eat today? Something healthy would be nice. And remember to be kind to one another. I'll see you tomorrow, Keidan. Have a good day. I love you and miss you.